It's that time of year when talking about demons, ghosts, and unexplained events is not only acceptable, it's actually expected. But are stories like the Amityville Horror and Lizzie Borden really true? And do supernatural events really exist? Rebecca Muller is a paranormal expert with some answers. Rebecca, good morning. So you discovered you had sort of this gift for feeling or sensing the paranormal at a young age, right?
Right.
How did that come about?
It's what people call clairvoyant. I can see, hear. I'm a medium. I can speak with them, receive messages from them. The first experience I can remember when I was 4 years old as a child, telling the stories to my parents as I got older, and nobody really realizing or understanding what was happening until I was roughly 20 years of age.
And you say a paranormal experience can really come in a lot of different forms. Like, what do you mean by that?
One form is known as residual, and that would be as if it's an imprint, a recorded imprint in history of a ghost that would continue the same pattern over and over and over again. It would not interact with people. The other is a intelligent being, physical spirit, where it would interact and expect some sort of a response from a human.
Interesting. So we're going to sort through some of the fact or fiction. The Vatican performs exorcisms to remove demon spirits. Is that true or false?
True.
True.
It is true, yes.
And how do they go about doing it? It's just they perform...
I believe in 1999 the rules changed where the church has to be contacted by a medical professional, and then they work together from there to...
This is for people who are possessed. What are allegedly possessed? Yes. What are the characteristics of a person who
I would say speaking in tongues. There have been stories told of unique voices, multiple voices coming out of the person at the same time, where it's something that's not capable of a human to do.
All right, next one is the Amityville Horror. Is that a true story? This is based out of Long Island. It was a family, it was a murder that happened. 6 people in a family killed.
The history of the story is in fact true. As for the ghost stories that go along with the story,
the Hollywood version of it, as we see in this movie, right,
is a little bit what I would consider elaborated. But I do believe that anywhere where death would take place, especially with that many deaths and murders, that there will probably most likely be some sort of paranormal activity.
So that house, I mean, people who've lived in that house after the fact, have they reported feeling like they were haunted?
I've heard that people that have lived after the Lutzes have not received anything, but it doesn't. It could be something that's they're oblivious to. I mean, it could be just the slightest paranormal activity after something like that takes place.
All right. What about the Lizzie Borden story? In 1893, Lizzie Borden was convicted of brutally murdering her father and stepmother with an axe. True or false?
False.
False.
She was acquitted, I believe. And actually, my husband and I just spent the night there a few weeks ago on our honeymoon and did a little investigation.
On your honeymoon?
Yes.
The Lizzie Borden house.
In the John Morrison room, which is where the mother was murdered.
So did you feel anything when you were there?
We did feel, using this equipment as an EMF detector. And
what does this really detect? I mean, you know, I could detect air with. I mean, I don't.
It detects electricity, electrical currents, which is what ghosts are related to.
I see.
One of the ways that we can tell the difference is that we did this at the Lizzie Borden house, and we're able to have a spirit in the basement of the Lizzie Borden house answer us by flashing the light.
But do you think that it was Lizzie Borden actually coming to you in some way?
Being a clairvoyant, I actually sensed a male, and I don't know who he was, but he was a very strong male spirit.
Very interesting. All right, the White House has rooms that are believed to be haunted. Is that true?
I believe the Lincoln Room is the one that is told.
I've heard the Lincoln Room, but I guess the Oval Office, is there any spirits there?
No, that is false.
No, false. All right, so it's the Lincoln Room. Okay, what about voodoo and voodoo religion, the pins and the sticks that are used in dolls as a method of cursing people?
Voodoo is
Does that have any merit?
The pins, no. Voodoo is a very intense spiritual religion. Pins have nothing to do with how they express themselves through that religion.
All right, and finally, really quick, the Emily Rose exorcism, based on real life events. Was this a true story? Some people believe it, some people do not. They believe she had a form of epilepsy that caused her to act in those ways. My personal opinion is that it was a true story. And the priest and her parents that performed the exorcism in connection with her death, what happened with them and what happened with her?
I believe that they were tried and that they were found for murder, and they all spent 6 months in prison.
All right, well, Rebecca Muller, very interesting, and thanks so much for sharing your knowledge with us. Happy Halloween!
Thank you.